Most buyers come to Maine thinking they've got it all figured out. Then reality hits during the first winter. After working with hundreds of out-of-state buyers, I can tell you the #1 mistake costs people way more than money. It changes your whole lifestyle in ways they never saw coming. Today, I'm walking you through what nobody tells you about Maine living. Imagine you're touring homes in July, falling in love with Maine's coastal charm, already mentally decorating your new living room, but you're making a decision based on 90 days of the year and ignoring the other 275. Here's the #1 mistake buyers make. They don't understand how Maine's seasons completely transform your daily life. And I see this every single day. People visit in July when it's 78 degrees and sunny. The restaurants have outdoor seating, the harbor's full of sailboats, everybody's walking around in shorts. It's amazing. And when we get to the questions you need to ask before touring, I'll show you the one question that reveals which sellers are hiding seasonal problems. But first, you need to understand what you're actually getting into. But that beautiful summer experience only lasts roughly 90 days out of 365. Understanding these seasonal patterns is the difference between thriving here and counting your days until you can sell. 61 inches of snow annually, that's over 5 feet piling up between November and March. And that number transforms everything about your daily routine. Maine has a humid, continental climate with 4 very distinct seasons. We average 61 inches of snow every single year. The average winter high sits around 34 degrees. January lows drop to around 17 degrees. But here's where it gets interesting. In December, the sun sets around 4 p.m. Think about that. If you're working a normal 9 to 5, you're commuting home in complete darkness. Grocery shopping in the dark, walking your dog in the dark. Summer, on the flip side, has sunset at 8:30, which is awesome. But the 4-month stretch from November through February affects your whole lifestyle. That 45-minute commute that seemed totally reasonable in July can turn into an hour or more when there's ice on 95 and you can barely see through the nor'easter. A great example is I got a call last week from a couple who bought a home last year in the rural community about 40 minutes of Portland with a different agent. Now, 6 months later, they're completely frustrated. The husband's company ended their remote work policy, and now he's driving over an hour each way through the snow and ice multiple times a week. Now they have to sell the home and find something closer. It's really important to factor in possible work changes when purchasing a home, because things can change very quickly in this job market, and being far away is a challenge. Portland neighborhoods? The city plows the streets. You've got city water and sewer, everything's close. But the more rural you go, power outages become a real thing. You're further away from everything. The grocery store isn't a 5-minute trip anymore. And quick note before we dive deeper, if you're seriously thinking about a move to Portland or anywhere in Maine, I work with out-of-state buyers dealing with these exact seasonal realities every single day. I can give you real, grounded perspective on neighborhoods, actual winter commutes, which properties handle Maine living the best. My contact info is in the description and on screen right now. Now let's get back into it and talk about how location changes everything. You get home at 5:30, it's been pitch black for 90 minutes. That's not an occasional winter thing. That's your daily reality from November to February. This affects shopping, exercise, social activities, everything. Seasonal affective disorder is a real concern up here. You need strategies. Some people use light therapy lamps. Others make sure they go outside during lunch. And here's something most agents won't tell you, and that's exactly what I'm here for. Portland has parking bans during snow emergencies. If you don't have off-street parking, the fines recently jumped from $40 to $130. Yikes. Oh, and when I tell you about the trade-offs later, I'll show you exactly why the cute Old Port apartment without parking might cost you way more than you think. There's a real risk of your car getting hit by a plow. No joke. Anyways, there's other hidden costs as well that nobody talks about. Let me tell you exactly what it is. Maine's average electricity price is way above the national average. Let that sink in. You're paying much more than what somebody in Texas pays to keep the lights on, and we haven't even turned on the heat yet. And we have one of the oldest housing stocks in the country as well. About 23.4% of Maine homes were built before 1940. That's nearly double the national average of 12%. Here's what that means for you. Poor efficiency. Older homes weren't built with modern insulation standards. They leak heat. Your furnace works overtime, and those utility bills add up fast during the winter months when you're heating your home for 6 months straight. Here's the thing, you need to pay attention to which direction the home faces. South-facing properties get more sun, which naturally warms the house and can melt snow faster off driveways. Condos might actually be a smart move if you're worried about efficiency and maintenance. A lot of newer condo buildings have better insulation and modern heating systems. Plus, the HOA typically handles snow removal. New builds are coming, but slowly. This isn't a D.R. Horton market with 500 home communities. We're talking about 20 home developments here. But these new construction homes are built to modern efficiency standards. But what is it like being in a rural area? $15,000. That's roughly what one client saved every year by choosing rural housing over the peninsula of Portland. That was until they figured out what they were actually spending on driving, property maintenance, and higher insurance. Rural homes give you space, privacy, often a lower price point, but you're responsible for everything. That includes plowing your own driveway. You might be on well water and septic, power outages last longer, and everything's further away. Portland neighborhoods and the close suburbs, you've got city services. Roads get plowed by the city, you've got city water, city sewer, so no well pump failures or septic headaches. Everything's close, but you're paying for that with higher home prices and property taxes. The greater Portland area gives you options though. South Portland, Westbrook, Falmouth. These suburbs still give you decent access to services while offering more living space than the peninsula. $4,200 per year. That's what flood insurance costs on one of my Cape Elizabeth buyers' homes, on top of their regular homeowner's insurance, mind you, mortgage and property taxes. If you're buying a waterfront or near coastal property, you need to understand FEMA flood zones and insurance, or you'll have to redo your entire budget. Maine's working waterfront is part of who we are. But the salt air is tough on everything, from your car to your home's exterior. You need to budget for more maintenance. And this connects directly to offer strategies I'm covering soon. Because in today's market, these extra costs actually give you some more negotiating leverage if you know how to use them. And during nor'easters, which we get multiple times during the winter, coastal properties really take a beating. Now, let's talk about the market. Fall is statistically the best time to buy in Maine. But most out-of-state buyers are already back home by then, which is exactly why locals get better deals. Inventory stays a little bit higher while demand and prices start to cool during the fall. Summer is our peak real estate season, but as we head into the fall and winter, things slow down, which actually creates opportunity if you're willing to house hunt in the snow. Right now, Portland's median sale price sits around $640,000, up 4.1% year over year. Homes are getting an average of 2 offers and selling in about 26 days. But here's what makes Maine unique. The state's housing market is split into 2 totally different regions, per the Bangor Daily News reporting. Southern Maine and coastal areas like Portland, still a competitive seller's market. But central and northern Maine are more balanced with lower prices. Knob and tube wiring, foundation cracks, roof damage from ice dams, these aren't rare finds in Maine homes. They're standard in properties built before 1960, which is over a third of our housing stock. When you're looking at homes that ancient, you need to be really careful with inspections. Really though. Older homes can have outdated plumbing, sketchy electrical work, foundation problems, roof issues, you name it. And with our competitive market, sellers aren't always willing to make repairs. You might be buying as is and adding renovation costs to your budget. I always tell buyers to budget an extra 10 to 15% of the purchase price for unexpected repairs on a fixer-upper. So that $500,000 house you're looking at, you might want to plan for potentially $50,000 to $75,000 of work over the next 5 to 10 years. Now the good news is these older homes have great character, beautiful architecture, solid construction in most cases, established neighborhoods with mature trees as well. There's a reason why they're still standing after all these decades. Just make sure you're ready for the maintenance. Now I'll let you in on the strategy that you can use to get better deals. Multiple offers with waived inspections and 20% over asking price. That was 2021. Today's market needs you to read the room. And right now, the room is actually giving you negotiating power again. When inventory gets tight, like it did during the pandemic, you're competing with multiple offers. You might need to waive things or offer over asking. But as inventory grows, which we're seeing happen right now, you're getting more leverage. You can take your time a little bit, you can negotiate some items, and you can ask for repairs or credits in certain times. Right now in late 2025, we're in this transition phase. The market's not as crazy as it was, but it's still competitive for the right home, especially for well-priced properties in great areas. This is where understanding current market dynamics matter. Now's the time to make your move, and I'll be right here to help you with that. Remember, all my information is down in the description below. Now let's talk about the questions you have to ask with whoever is touring with you. This is also part of the strategy. The answers to these can give you a bunch of insights that you can use in your favor. First, what are the utility costs? Ask for actual figures from last year. You want to see what heating costs were in January and February. Second, how's the property handled in the winter? Who plows? What's the cost? Is snow removal included in the HOA fee? Those are some good examples. Third, what's the water and sewer situation? City services or private well and septic? Fourth, what's the internet like? If you work from home, it's huge. Rural areas might have limited options, understandably. Fifth, what's the actual commute time in the winter? Don't trust summer drive times. Drive the route during peak traffic hour if you can. And sixth, what are the property taxes? Again, this makes budgeting a lot smoother with no surprises. Don't go off the number on MLS. A lot of times this can be incorrect. Don't be afraid to grill your agent for these answers. By the way, they really do make a difference. Now, we need to talk about expectations, because as much as I love Maine, it comes with some trade-offs. Perfect location, perfect condition, perfect price. Every buyer wants all three. 0 buyers get all three. Understanding which one you'll give up is the difference between a 6-week search and a 6-month headache. Want to be walkable to Portland's Old Port? You're paying a premium and probably getting an older building. Want new construction with modern efficiency? You're probably looking at the suburbs. Want an affordable way in? You're likely giving up on location or buying a property that needs some work. The key is knowing what matters most. I always tell clients to make a list. Rank your must-haves versus nice-to-haves, and be ready to compromise on the nice-to-haves. We've talked about the number one mistake people make when moving to Maine, which is to misunderstand the seasonality. But how can you avoid this? Stay tuned. First, visit Maine in the winter. Really experience the cold, the dark, and the snow. Second, talk to locals who made the move. Ask them what surprised them. Third, factor winter costs into your budget. Add in higher utilities, possible snow removal, emergency repairs. Give yourself some breathing room. Fourth, make energy efficiency a priority when you're looking. Check for newer windows, updated insulation, modern heating systems. Fifth, really think about location and commute. That extra 15 minutes in the summer might be an extra 30 minutes in the winter. Multiple times per week for months. And sixth, work with somebody who actually lives here and knows these patterns. Somebody who's going to tell you the truth like I did today, because Maine is an awesome place to live. The quality of life here is exceptional. You need to come into this with your eyes wide open. The people who do well here are the ones who embrace all 4 seasons. They buy winter gear, they find stuff they love in every season, they build a life that works year-round, not just in the summer. The people who struggle here are the ones who moved for the romantic idea without getting the practical reality. And I want you to be in the first group. That's why I make these videos. I don't see Maine's seasonality as a deal breaker. To me, it's a filter. And honestly, it makes my job a lot easier. The buyers who do well here are the ones who showed up in February, asked about utility bills, and still said yes. That's you now. You've got to get the info that other buyers don't have until it's too late. If you want someone who's actually going to walk you through properties with winter commutes, utility costs, and real snow removal budgets already figured out, shoot me an email, which is on the screen or down below, or check out my contact information on the channel. I'm working with many out-of-state buyers right now who are using this exact knowledge to negotiate smarter and avoid properties that look great in July but brutal in January. That's the difference between loving Maine year-round and counting down to your next move. Buying with somebody who lives this weather pattern every single day. Now, understanding seasonality is huge, but the market timing is the other half. Portland's inventory just hit a level we haven't seen in years. And 2 identical condos, 3 doors apart, are selling for nearly 80 grand different right now. One took 2 days, the other took over 90. I just put out my full Portland market update breaking down exactly which price ranges have serious negotiating power, where the condo correction is hitting the hardest, and why buyers who move now are better positioned than anyone waiting for spring 2026. The video is linked right here. Check it out because this window won't stay open. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.